Don't close the coffin yet. I'm alive. Hello. And it's homecoming. And you remember. Anyway. Hello, I'm back. Talking more about Aetherdrift. I wanted to... What the fuck happened to my... Alright, I need to wash my, my playmat. I have a playmat just, like, on my desk that I put my mouse and keyboard on. What the fuck happened there? It's probably because I've been eating too much damn soup. And the soup do be splashing. It do be splashing. Anyway. More Aetherdrift stuff. We're going to start talking a little bit about the Aetherdrift Commander stuff. Then we're going to move into the normal Aetherdrift previews. I personally can't hear the background music. I have no idea how audible it is, but you know, it's whatever. It doesn't really matter all that much. Anyway, this is just a hawk to it. It's not funny. Hash a ton. Scarab's Fist, very interesting. White, black for a 1/3 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, create a tapped token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. What's interesting, so this essentially is like a reference to Embalm. I just realized that this doesn't have a creature type. Like, zombie is like a modification type in my mind. The wizard obviously is an occupation type. But like, this doesn't have a, I should say species type. Like, is it a cat? Is it a minotaur? No, it's not a minotaur, dumbass. It doesn't have horns. That's kind of weird to me. I feel like they could have... I served the scarab in an age-long past in another form under another name. Okay, I was about to be upset because this would have been a retcon because the scarab god was not the scarab god before, but sure. Also, does this imply the scarab god's still, like, around? Doesn't matter. Anyway, this essentially is like an Embalm dude. It's an Esper for commander reasons. I need to discard a creature card. Blue is relatively decent at doing that. Same with black, being able to discard your own cards. White does have some reasonable cycling, so it's fine. They had to make this tapped because this is something that you can discard at instant speed, and I think they wanted to make it so that you could get value on this, like on your opponent's turn, if they force you to discard something. And they had to balance that between you being able to, like, surprise block with something potentially insane versus you being able to always be able to do it. I think that this is probably the most elegant way to do it. But who knows? Swage. PNLR Chief Mechanic. Good old-fashioned green, blue, red teamer. Human Artificer, she's a 2/4. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get 2 energy. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, create an XX colors vehicle token named Nolar Aetherjet. It's not legendary. With flying and crew 2, where X is the amount of energy spent this way. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 or more. So she's just using energy to make cars. Artifact creatures control. You always get 2. This is 1 or more. So if you have one opponent and you hit them with like 3 artifact creatures, you still only get 2. If you have 2 opponents, I do believe that you will get 4 if you hit them both with at least 1 artifact creature. So this scales not on the number of artifact creatures you have, but the number of opponents you have, which is fine. This is on 3. You could theoretically get some immediate energy there with a 2-mana artifact creature, but I mean, it's another energy commander, but it doesn't, like, it's not really an energy commander, if that makes sense. Like, energy and artifacts kind of go hand in hand, but the way that you gain energy and the way that you spend energy is not like directly related to a lot of the current ways that you want to be gaining and using energy in energy commander decks, at least. So frankly, I don't know. I don't know if this is decent or not. I don't care about it though. Another teamer, Saheeli Radiant Creator, 1 green, blue, red for a 4/4 human artificer. When you cast an artifact or an artificer spell, you gain an energy. Okay, sure, makes sense. If you need combat in your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types and has haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. Target permanent you control. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this like makes more sense to me as an energy commander, right? It still works with artifacts. It also works with artificers, which we do see the energy mechanic having a little bit of overlap with artificer, which I think is cool. Beginning of combat in your turn. I pay 3. A permanent. Yeah, so sacrifice the next end step. Yeah, so theoretically you can use this to like copy a land if you really need to like ramp mana. But otherwise, like, you can get some really good ETB or dies triggers, because it sacrifices, doesn't exile, which is actually very important to note. You can get some dice triggers. You can get ETB triggers from some stupid artifacts that you might have. Notably, this is permanent. Like, you don't actually have to care necessarily about playing artifacts, but you get energy with her via playing artifacts, so it's usually going to be artifacts. There might be some cool artificers that do some interesting things. Actually, what are the Trink Mage? Are you an artificer? No, you're a wizard. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It kind of would make more sense if this was an artificer, but she's, in my opinion, she's cooler than Pia. Forming a 4/4. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, she's okay. Temet, Noctone's Will. Temet, you were a dude initially, right? Yeah. Temet was a dude who got embalmed. For some reason, his face is being revealed now. I don't know why, but sure, whatever. 2 white, blue, black for a 4/4 zombie wizard. They often don't have human with zombie. I don't super agree with it, but it's fine. I guess if like you consider that baseline. I will say it's weird because he definitely looks like just a guy with wrappings on. Like, he doesn't look undead. Like, here, because he's full wrapped, it feels like he is actually dead. But this just looks like he's wearing stuff. I guess his skin is paler. But I'm not a big fan of them not looking like full mummies. I would have preferred if they stayed full masked. Like, the way we could have known that this is actually Temet is the weapons that he has. Like, this is still his outfit. But it's weird to me, at least, that, like, he does look like a normal guy. Like, nothing about this says I'm dead. Same with the attendants in the background. It looks like they're just wearing like a mummy costume. But whatever. It's a 4/4 with Vigilance and Menace. Whenever you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, zombies you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Notably, this counts himself. It's whenever you attack, not whenever Temet attacks, so you can play this on 5 and immediately get the value from it. He has Vigilance and Menace, which is just screaming, hey, attack with me. You also get to block. This attacks as a 5/5. Actually, this, whenever you draw a card. Yeah, this actually attacks as a 6/6, right? Because, like, you play this on 5. On 6, you draw for turn. Your zombies get +1/+1. Then you attack. You draw a card, discard a card. Notably, this is not a may. You must do this. And then your zombies will, also must, but less of an issue, potentially, get another plus. So this does get +2 on the turn it attacks, like, baseline. And then, of course, if you're playing a bunch of draw on, discard, whatever, then you can theoretically, like, buff your zombies by a lot. I do think that's pretty cool. Vigilance Menace, whenever you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, zombies you control get bigger. I mean, yeah, you can do this at instant speed. I actually really like this as a zombie commander, to be honest. And the reason for that is like it's different than a lot of the zombie commander support that we see. Insofar as like this card does add to your graveyard, but it's not like trying to like adding to your graveyard isn't like the main thing. Like you get to, because you get to discard potentially zombies that you can cast from the graveyard like Gravecrawler, or you can bring them back, excuse me, via reanimation spells or whatever. But the actual main goal of this is to have a, you know, an army of zombies. But this doesn't make the zombies itself, right? It's something that, in my opinion, is a good card. That's not like stupid. Like if this were also like whenever Temet deals combat damage to a player, make that many zombies or some nonsense like that, or even just like one zombie, then I would like it less, because then it's the engine and the payoff. Whereas here it's kind of just it's like half of the engine and the payoff, right? Because like you still need the zombies. I guess technically you don't even need the zombies, right? Temet alone is fine. Yeah, no, because you have to draw like one extra card per turn to attack as a 7 power, and 7 is the magic number for commander because 21 commander damage. That's 3 7s. So I like Temet in terms of like mechanical design. I do not like the artistic choices that they decided to make because it does not feel like a zombie to me. Wizened Mentor. See, Wizened Mentor is a little bit of the opposite. He does feel like a zombie, but I'm a little bit. I don't like. They should be more decayed, in my opinion. Even though the issue, right, is like they're mummies, which means they're preserved. But like, they don't feel enough like zombies. But like this one is different. Like it's. I dislike it in the opposite way of Temet. Is like this one doesn't have enough wrappings on it. But like, I mean, I'm just splitting hairs. 1 and a white for a 2/2 zombie cleric. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of a permanent that isn't a mana ability, you create a 1/1 white zombie creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Boo, dude. Seriously? It makes a 1/1. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of a permanent that isn't a mana ability, you create a zombie. That's so disappointing. Yeah, no, this is very disappointing because, like, this is the type of thing where it's either not going to happen or it's going to happen a lot. Like, I don't think you're going to frequently be in situations where your opponent, like, happens to activate one thing. It's going to be like, I'm going to activate this, and that's going to turn into me activating this, etc., etc. Like, boo. Boo. It's a 1/1. I would rather them come in tapped and let me have this as many times as possible. But whatever, I guess. I like the card. I'm just sad. Territorial Aetherkite. I miss the swirls. Crap, I'm trying to remember the new name of Kaladesh. I cannot remember it right now. I don't like that the world has gotten less swirly. I thought that was one of the things that like really stood out about it. And having it not be swirly is kind of a meh. But the Aetherkite is a 4 red 6/5 cat dragon with flying and haste. When this creature enters, you get 2 energy. Then you may pay 1 or more energy. When you do, this creature deals that much damage to each other creature. That's disappointing. That's a one-time thing. So theoretically, you can have this as a 6 mana 6 to the dome because it has haste that pyroclasms the board. That's fine. So you're like essentially paying 4 mana for a 6/5 flying haste, staple to a pyroclasm. Yeah, no, that's probably fine. And then if you happen to have a bunch of energy, like this is a really good card to hold in your hand in the energy deck, where you're like, all right, I'm doing well, blah, blah, blah. And then you're at a point where like, the board is out of control. I have a bunch of energy stockpiled. I'm going to go ahead and just play this Hellkite, or this Aetherkite. And I'm going to wipe the board. I'm going to hit the most egregious player in the face. and we move on from there, right? So this card's fine. It definitely doesn't feel like something that goes in every energy deck, which is fine. Like, that's not necessarily something that should be a thing. Stride Hanger Automaton is a 3-mana 1/4 construct. Thopters you control get +1/+1. Ooh, a Thopter Lord. If one or more artifact tokens would be created under control, those tokens plus an additional Thopter are made instead. If one or more artifact tokens... Yeah, so this is like food, blood token, clothes, treasure, etc., etc. This also counts if you're making like Mer token, just any fucking artifact token. And there are plenty of ways to just make artifact tokens, being able to just get an additional thing. This is very similar to Academy Rector, insofar as like it makes the tokens you're producing already even better, right? So I mean, I like the card. It's relatively survivable at 4 toughness. It only has 1 power, which I think is fine. Like, it doesn't need power, despite it being, you know, huge. It does what it's supposed to do in that it just makes a bunch of dudes, and it makes your dudes bigger. I think it's cool. Ret Tomb Mystic. See, like, this one feels like more of a zombie. You got the blue eye. It's like, she's full wrapped. I don't know, this one just, it feels better. Anyway, it's a 1 and a blue 2/1 zombie bird wizard with flying. Each creature card in your hand has cycling. Yeah, okay. Cabinet may be gone, but the thirst for wisdom never dies. Yeah, well, you'll see about that. It's a flyer that gives all your stuff cycling. I mean, that seems pretty good, especially considering the cycling cost doesn't scale, right? This could have said cycling, where cycling is its mana cost minus, like, I don't know, 2 colors or something like that. Like, they could have done it that way. But this just gives it a baseline mana cost, which is what should be done, right? Because if you have something that's too damn expensive, then you're able to just be like, all right, I'm going to get this out of my hand, and we're bing chilling, right? So, reasonable card. It's actually just good in a cycling deck as well, right? Like you don't have to care about this in the context of the zombie deck that they're making here. It's just fine in the cycling deck because it just gives you a better ability to have cycling cards in your hand. One of the issues with decks like that, it's similar to like equipment decks and whatnot, is you need cards that are the thing, and then cards that benefit from the thing, right? So in equipment decks, you need equipment, and you need things that benefit from equipment. In the cycling deck, you need cyclers, but you also need cards that benefit from cyclers. And now, a lot of the times, those things can mash together, right? But here, it allows it so that you aren't screwed by having the things that benefit and none of the things that are the thing, right? So I do like that. I think it's reasonable. Renewed Solidarity. They don't look dead. Like, this one, maybe it looks like it has white eyes. And my guess is they started to keep more of the face uncovered, so that, like, so the people of Amonkhet, like it's less of a, they're dead warriors now, blah blah blah, and it's more like they're family. They're technically dead, but they're still alive, man. Like, I don't know. I'm belly aching for nothing really, but it just feels weird, man. It feels weird. Anyway, 2 and a white for an enchantment. As an enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+0. Interesting. At the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. Ooh. Okay, that's actually interesting. At the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. Interesting. It's a token doubler, but it's slow. It does give a buff, but the buff does not matter on this card. I mean, I guess it technically does if a lot of your tokens are 1 or 2 power, because then it's a buff of 50 or 33%. But still, like, the reason you play this card is like, I'm going to make my tokens even better. I mean, you're already going to want to play the other token doublers, like Anointed Procession, begin your end step for each token you control that entered this turn. Yeah, so I mean, this works with Anointed Procession in a really stupid way, right? So with Anointed Procession, let me go and pull it up. With Anointed Procession, if an effect would create one or more tokens, it creates twice that many. So let's say I have that mentor that I was annoyed by. I make a 1/1. But actually, since I have Anointed Procession, I make two 1/1s. Two 1/1s have entered. So now, at the end of turn, Solidarity is going to be like, okay, 2 of these zombies have entered. Yeah, that's 2. At the beginning of your end step, for each token you control, create a token that's a copy of it. Yes. So this should, unless I can't read, this should give you a token per token. Not per type of token. So end of turn, Renewed Solidarity sees 2 tokens entered. So I would get 2 more, except, oh wait, I get twice. I get 4 more. And now it's 6 tokens from 1 token. It's dope stuff. This obviously works really nicely with things that give every creature type to everything. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. I was a little taken aback by the +1/+0, but like honestly, even if this didn't have this, I think I'd still play this card in a creature type deck that makes tokens, right? If you're making tokens incidentally, like you don't play this in a zombie deck, you play this in a zombie token deck, right? You don't play this in a merfolk deck, you play this in a merfolk token deck. So you can't, like, this isn't just a creature type buff. It's something specifically for decks that play that creature type in token form primarily. Rampaging Aetherhood. We're getting a lot of Ron Spencer, and I'm going to be honest, I despise a lot of Ron Spencer's early stuff. This looks good, though. And I'll show some of the other stuff after. 4 and a green for a 4/4 Snake Hydra with Trample and Ward 2. Seems good. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a amount of energy equal to this creature's power. Then, you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, put that many 1/1 counters on this creature. Oh, shit. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get an amount of energy equal to this creature's power. This is a really interesting way of doubling. Like, this is an interesting way of having a Hydra. That's cool, actually. Like, that's super neat. I think this is a really fun design. Because Hydra, like, the whole point of Hydras in Magic is they deal with 1/1 counters, and typically they deal with gaining a bunch of 1/1 counters, right? This is an energy Hydra. So how can we do an energy Hydra? Some Hydras we have they double at the beginning of something. Or when something. I'm pretty sure there's a Hydra that doubles on attack. Yeah, Colonian, I think. And I'm pretty sure there's a Hydra that doubles counters on upkeep. If not, there is an enchantment that does that. For, I think, 3 mana. But this is also just, like, investing, right? Like, this is just investing in stocks, where, quote-unquote, early on, this is 5 mana, but whatever. Like, early on, you're able to just make some energy, dump it directly into this, so that on your subsequent turn, you make more energy. And it has Ward 2, which I think is important. Like, obviously, Ward, people don't love Ward. Ward, look, it's better than Hexproof, alright? I appreciate Ward because, yes, it's going to be harder to get rid of something, but you can get rid of it. But when you're paying 5 mana and you're investing in a creature, you do want that creature to have some level of protection. So I think Ward 2 is pretty reasonable, especially since the idea is that Hydras do have some type of protection, be it indestructibility or when you cut off a head, you get more, right? So I do appreciate that. But, like, you can use this as an investment. You can use this as just, like, every turn I'm just going to double this in power. Or you can use this just as every turn I'm going to get 4 energy. I'm just not ever going to put it into this. I'm just going to continually bank for energy on my upkeeps. And I like that. I like that you can do different things with this card. And one of the other things I like is that you can just put this into a deck that has no other energy. Right? Like, this is a card that does stand alone. And typically you'll hear me talk about like cards not being the engine and the payoff, that's really about commanders though. Because if your commander is the engine and the payoff, then it's like, cool. You cast your commander and you don't really, it doesn't like matter what else you do for the game. It's like you have your engine and your payoff. But with this, right, it's just a card. So if I want to play a snake deck, I can put it in there without having any other energy. If I want to play Hydra deck, same thing. If I want to play a 1/1 counter, I can put it in there. Trample, for some reason, if I'm playing a weird trample deck, I can put it in there. If I'm playing, again, odd mana values, right? Square power toughness situations, right? Like you can just put this into decks that not all of the things are necessary. And I like the variability of this. And that's pretty cool. Prophet of the Scarab. It's weird to me that they're not full wrapped, but whatever. Hate the Scarab's collar be crushed upon their return. Is this Scarab coming back? Huge if true. 4 and a blue for a 3/4 zombie wizard with vigilance. When this creature enters, draw cards equals the number of zombies you control, or the number of zombie cards in your graveyard, whichever is greater. Excuse me, what? This is not... I thought it was going to say, and then discard that many cards. When this creature enters, draw cards equals the number of zombies you control, or the number of zombie cards in your graveyard, whichever is greater. Notably, this is not a may. You have to draw cards. Notably, you do not get to choose. You will always draw the bigger number of cards. Technically speaking, that's not an issue. There are some times where it could be an issue. I have legitimately decked myself in a game of Commander using, I can see your ugly face. I've absolutely decked myself with Graveborn Muse. Sometimes shit gets out of control. For what it's worth, I believe I had Graveborn Muse and the 2 black enchantments that doubles your number of zombies. I had no way of killing her, and my opponents refused to kill her. She was dealing 3 damage to everyone, but she was killing me. I had ways of gaining life. I think my zombies had lifelink. Yeah, I want to say my zombies just had lifelink, so I was able to like do stuff, but it wasn't in time. I decked myself. So there's technically some situations where this is not going to be great. There's Vigilance, which is kind of funny because it's a 3/4 for 5. Like, you definitely play this card for its draw effect, but I guess 3/4 for 5 with Vigilance is like okay. It's just like a little extra, so sure. Priest of the Crossing. You don't look like as... You know what? JK, I take it back. This thing's wings are decrepit. I wish that the feathers on the face were a little bit more plucked, but whatever. Or like the beak had a break in it, or just fucking something. Because I remember in OG Amonkhet block, like there were zombies that showed battle damage because they were killed in battle, right? Like I know one of them very prominently had like 1 arm. A lot of the zombies that were wandering zombies in the desert, like, were straight up just like, because they weren't embalmed. So, I don't know. 3 and a white for a 3/3 flying zombie bird cleric at the beginning of your end step. Excuse me, at the beginning of each end step. Put X 1/1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Beginning of each end step, put X number. This doesn't have flash, so it does have to be in already. Frequently when you see stuff like this, the creature has a decent chance of having flash. Each end step, put X 1/1 counters on each creature you control. X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. So you need a way to kill things, and you need a way to still have things. So like this works nicely with, actually, does this work? Just making sure that it's a commensurate. Whenever create, ooh, no, whenever 1 or more, let's create 1. Damn. Yeah, so it's not that many. I was trying to think like, oh, you could have a sack outlet this and then like Scurry Oak, but Scurry Oak is just one. It's not based on the amount. So that does make it a little bit more difficult, but this card I think is going to be difficult to get value out of. Like I wouldn't even consider this in my Kelith and Rayhan deck, because the plan of that deck is not to have my creatures die. And it also isn't necessarily to have a bunch of creatures. It's very much like, I'm going to have a few big-ass creatures that refuse to die. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this card. Beginning of each end step, each creature you control X the number of creatures that died. Yeah, because you want to be wide with this. Because it's not like distribute X 1/1 counters among creatures you control. It's put X. So you want to go wide, but you also want your stuff to die. So it just kind of works against each other there. Not enough swirls, man. Just not enough swirls. Pima Trailblazer. I remembered. I have ADHD. Shut up. Ron Spencer. I despise a lot of this early art. It's just gross looking. But not in like a good gross way. I just don't like how it looks. I guarantee it. This one's kind of fine. But like just the vibe. I mean, this one's like okay, but But I do like this. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, Pima Trailblazer, tone of green for a 3/3 Elephant Warrior with Trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get that much energy. Technically, you get that many energy because it's energy counters, but you get that much energy. Exhaust, pay 6 energy, put 2 1/1 counters on this creature, then draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Activate this exhaust ability only once. 2 counters on this creature, then draw cards with the greatest power among creatures control. This creature just coming in for player, you get that much. So theoretically, like worst case is like you attack twice to get and like it's not blocked. I guess this is not worst case, but like quote unquote like base case. It's not blocked. You pay 6, you put 2 on this, and you draw 5 cards, which is not bad. This is just a straight up 3-mana 3/3 with Trample. That does stuff when you deal damage. So I think this is a generally good card. This is another one of the cards where like you don't really have to play this in an energy focused deck. It's obviously better if you do, because it means you can pay this faster, right? Like theoretically, this could be a 3-mana draw spell if you already have something very large and you have sufficient amount of energy to immediately pay the 6, right? You can play this, pay the 6, you essentially get a 5/5 for it, and then draw whatever your big creature is, right? So there's definitely value to this, even if you're not playing it in the early game. So I like it. I'm sad by the lack of swirls, but whatever. On Wings of Gold. Gold is very heavy, and I don't believe it's very aerodynamic, but I guess they're dead already, so doesn't matter. 3 and a white. For an enchantment, creatures you control that are zombies and or tokens get +1/+1 and have flying. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 white zombie creature token. Interesting. 4 mana, creatures you control that are zombies and or tokens get +1/+1 and have flying. I do like that this is zombies and or tokens. It could have just said one or the other. It would have more likely said tokens based on the previous card. But the fact that it says zombies and or tokens means that you are able to play this in just a normal zombie deck, still get the benefit, like the maximum benefit out of it, or you can just play this in a token deck and still get the maximum benefit out of it, which I very much appreciate. Right, you can play this in a Thopter deck and be fine with it. Sure, you're getting white zombie creature tokens instead of Thopters on its second ability, but I don't think you care. Why did I say Thopters? Thopters already fly. Constructs, I don't know. Yeah, no, it's still nice. It is 4 mana. I guess it does just jump all of your creatures, right? Like, you can play this and potentially murder someone. Board stalled, terrible situation. Your opponent has... Is Molt legal? Yeah, Molt's legal. It's expensive, but it is legal. Makes the Molt obviously legal. Theoretically, they could have Moat. There are other cards that make it so, like, you can't attack with non-flying creatures. Or, like, things hate on non-flying creatures or whatever. But yeah, you could theoretically just, like, I fly my guys. Get killed. Like, board stall no more. I have this on 2x speed. Interesting. I like it. Whenever one more cards leave your graveyard. I feel like if you're playing this, you really want to be getting maximum value out of the first ability, and the second ability is kind of a bonus. Whenever one more cards leave your graveyard. Almost slept through the stream. For what it's worth, I started late because I woke up late. I woke up at like 2. Something like that. I woke up like 2. And then I was watching the dog. My sister's at work, so I'm on dog duty. And then it was like 3-ish, and I was like, oh, I need to pick up my nephew at the bus stop. So I figured I'd just wait until after Huard. But yeah. We've not even gotten to the actual cards yet. We're only through the Aetherdrift Commander stuff so far, so unless you particularly cared about the Commander stuff, you didn't actually miss anything. Yeah, I don't want to like, obviously with Gravecrawler, this is dope. And there are other things that can make this dope, right? There are plenty of zombies that like to leave, but how can this interact with stuff like favorable winds? Creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. They have flying, so they would get +1/+1. Shit. Is there timestamp situations here? I don't think so. Fuck. No, layers. Yeah, I gotta double check. Rules and effects that modify copy values. Text changing effects. Ability adding effects. Keyword counters. Ability removing effects. Okay, so I do think it's a layers thing, but power and toughness effects are applied after ability adding effects. So I believe they have the flying in layer 6, and favorable winds will see it regardless of when they come out, because this applies on layer 7. I think. I could be super duper wrong, but I believe technically there are layers, but it still works without like needing to do with timing. I think. Nissa, World Soul Speaker. You look too cheery. Random ass wooden breastplate for some reason. 3 and a green for a 3/3 elf druid with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you get 2 energy. You may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells you cast. 8 energy is a lot. It is 4 land drops. You could look at it that way. But like, you couldn't do something stupid with this, right? You may pay 8. Is there a way you can get, like, on turn 4, just like play this and immediately play something because you have 8 energy? One drop, you have the Nissus thing. I think that gives you 2. 2 drop. So this doesn't give anything by itself. So in 2 and 3, you have to get 3 on both. On 2, there is the artifact. Shit, does that give you 3 or does that give you 2? I don't even remember what it's called. That's a type line. That's an artifact. Gain energy for a whole damn turn. Fair. Green mini value equals 2. No, it's this one. It is 3. Okay. Okay, so yes, you can technically do that. So turn, I should actually double check that this is whatever. I don't remember what the card is. Fucking gain E. It's an enchantment. It's not Oath of Nissa, is it? Is green. I believe it costs green. Isn't there a 1-mana card that gains energy? Am I insane? Have I lost my mind? It's not an enchantment. It's a tune with Aether, you stupid asshole. Alright, so you attune with Aether into Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot on turn 2. Then on turn 3, you sack Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. On turn 4, you cast Nissa. You have 8 energy. You're able to use that for whatever you want. Is that too many hoops to jump through? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly good. 4-mana 3/3. Similar to the enchantment, if you want to play this card, I think you play it for the landfall gain 2 energy. Like this is why you play this card, because it's a relatively easy way of getting energy. And this is just like, if I need to, I get to do this, right? But I think this is just like what you want to go for. Last Monarch of Ifnir. See, he looks dead. I mean, they're wandering zombies, so they obviously look dead. But he's wrapped up. He looks dead. Hey, Afflict. Cool. 3 and a black for a 4/4 zombie noble. With Afflict 3, as a reminder, Afflict is whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life. Essentially, it's weird trample. Other zombies you control have Afflict 3. That's pretty dope, especially if you're running around with a bunch of 1 power and 2 power zombies. And then your second main phase, if a player was dealt combat damage by a zombie this turn, mill 3 cards, then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, this works out with the zombie enchantment, because it returned, like, it's removing a thing from your graveyard. It's putting things in your graveyard, which you often want to do with zombie decks. Afflict 3, right, is like, it disincentivizes your opponent from blocking your smaller creatures, right, your 1 or 2 power, because they're going to lose more life than they would have if they just let the damage through. But the second ability disincentivizes your opponents from not blocking, because they don't want combat damage dealt. So I really like how like all of this kind of works with each other. And a zombie, yeah. So you also don't need other zombies, right? This, since it has Inflict by itself, you're able to just do it with this card. And 4-mana 4/4, pretty decent. I like the card. I like the card. I think it's cool. I think it is very strong in wide zombie decks, which would be token zombies, which does mean that technically speaking, the last ability is a little bit less good. But the middle ability would be very good. Whereas obviously if you have fewer zombies, the afflict isn't going to matter as much, right? A horde of zombies all having afflict is a bit more of a combat nightmare than just a few. So, But like there are still plenty of zombies that you like, or creatures that you like in token zombies. The main one I think of is Grave. Is it Grave Spawn? Yeah. Oh, I know too many cards. Grave Spawn Sovereign is a 6-mana 3/3 tap 5 untap zombies you control. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Right. This is definitely like the token zombie card. Token as in stereotypical example of, and token as in the card. But yeah, no, like there are cards like this that do make token decks still want to have some number of actual creatures. Grave Titan's another one, right? I think Soul of Innistrad is, but I don't remember, and I also don't care about it, so we're skipping. Etheric Amplifier, 3 for an artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 4 tap, choose 1. Activate only as a sorcery. Double the number of each kind of counter on target permanent. Double the number of each kind of counter on target permanent. Okay. Double the number of each kind of counter you have. Dangerous. First things first. Why is it that the first one you can target any permanents, while the second one you can only target yourself? Because if you could target anyone, poison would be very annoying. I am a proponent of poison. I like poison in the game, and I think 10 is still fine in Commander. Getting 8 energy is hard. It costs 4 to use, but no, I mean, yeah. But if you were able to double on any player, then all you have to do is get to 5 energy or 5 poison, and you've murdered someone. Which I do think at that point would be too much. So I'm glad that this is like recognized. This is almost certainly why that's the case as well. Like if poison didn't exist, I think you could possibly have a situation where you're doubling counters on other players, but you can double the number of each kind of counter on any permanent. So you can double the number of negative counters. Woo! New card for negative counters, yeah. I need to say though that if you have poison, the third ability is dangerous. Yes, that's the thing, right? It's very dangerous if you are playing in a situation where you are poisoned, right? Because you do not get to choose. You are doubling each kind of counter. So if I have 1 poison and 3 energy, and I use this ability, I now have 2 poison and 6 energy. So you have to double. Yep. But yeah, so if you have a permanent with charge counters and 1/1 counters, it doubles each of them. It's like proliferate, but not. Yeah, no, this is cool actually. Yeah, it's a 3 mana fixer, which, in my opinion, are important to the game. But like it's very similar to like counter spells, where for standard at least, counter spell is like too cheap, but cancel is too expensive. Like the perfect counter spell for standard would be like blue and a half a mana, right? But you can't really do that. So similarly, technically speaking, the best is just Arcane Signet. But with 3 mana, you're getting this, but you're also getting the ability to do something potentially stupid. So I really appreciate this card. I like this card. I'm going to try to put it in Scarab God. Scorpion God, because this is one of the very few cards that actually give a fuck about negative counters, because it cares about counters in general, and Wizards hates me and everything I love. Aetherflux Conduit, 6 mana for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you get an amount of energy equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. I just read the second. Tap, pay 50 energy. Draw 7 cards. You may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. A Vishkar. I don't like that a Vishkar is less swirly. It disappoints me. I want I want the swirls. This is funny. Whenever you cast a spell, you get amount of energy equals to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Notably, right, this is 6 mana, so it is something that's hard to put down. Mana to spent, not CMC. Yeah. So if I what the is the name of that goddamn card? Let's say Deflecting Swat, because I can't remember the blue one. If I had Deflecting Swat for free, I don't get any energy because I haven't spent any mana. However, if Thalia is on the board and I play Deflecting Swat and I have to pay the Thalia tax, I have paid mana for that card. Therefore, I still get the 1 mana or the 1 energy. But yeah, no, this is actually hilarious. Pay 50 energy, draw 7 cards, you make casting number spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. I don't know if this is even a good card, but it's a cool card. Like, this could have been a mythic, and I think that would have been fine. Like, it would have been like the flashy level alone, I think would be valuable. Like, oh yeah, pay 50. Yeah, I mean, I like the card. I don't think it's terribly good, but I also don't play any energy decks, so I don't fucking know. Hey, it's I was gonna say, hey, it's an Aetherborn, and then I noticed. No, okay. I didn't realize these were Knuckles. I deadass thought dude just was missing a hand. And this was just strapped to his arm, but no. Adaptive Omni Tool. 2 energy for a equipment with Equip 3, and equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Whenever equipped creature attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Random order, any order, it really doesn't matter. Technically speaking, this just removes decision making, which is time that would be spent, and because this is something that's going to happen each time you attack, it will add up over the course of several games. Equipped creature gets +1, so this is a minimum of +1/+1. This is the reverse sword stats of 2 to cast, 3 to equip. I tend to prefer 3 to cast, 2 to equip, because you're going to be paying the equip cost more than the mana cost. But look at the top 6. When you don't have to deal damage, all you have to do is attack, is quite nice. If you're playing an artifact deck, then the number of artifacts you're playing is probably going to be between 30 and 50? Because I know when I'm playing a creature deck that depends on a certain amount of, like a certain type of creature, then it's like 30-ish. But with artifacts, I think it's a little bit easier because the them being artifacts allows it to be more than just creatures. Like, you are able to use them as mana rocks, as removal as well. Like, there's a bunch of other things you can do with it. So I think it's a little easier to go above that 30 part. And so if you're around the 40, right, then you have a 40% chance, or there's 40% of your deck then is artifacts, and so 40% of your 6. Microsynth, this is just a tutor for the top 6. That is true. That is true. Microsynth does make this just a straight up tutor for the top 6. We finally broke Lattice. I think Karn broke Lattice. But you know, this is a very high percentage of getting at least 1 artifact in your top 6, especially if you're putting in artifact lands. Like, I think that becomes even more likely. So I think the card is cool and good in specific decks. Accursed Doonyard. Those scarabs are very large, and it's frightening. It is a land that it's a land. Tap to add a colorless. Pay 2 and tap it. Regenerate target shade, skeleton, specter, spirit, vampire, wraith, or zombie. You get to regenerate an undead. This is Doonyard as opposed to Swarmyard. Swarmyard is literally the same, except it's insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. It's only 4. What do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn. Nice. But yeah, I mean, this is regenerate an undead. I'm glad they included vampire. The fact that this isn't a desert really makes me mad. Karn didn't break Lattice, they broke friendships together. True. I think Karn just broke friendships. You know, I think War of the Spark broke friendships. Like, I understand that, like, this is just Swarmyard, and they wanted it to just be Swarmyard. But it's so annoying. Wizard, I thought you realized Regenerate is confusing for people. Well, despite this being a rare, they do have the rules text in it, so... Next time it would be destroyed this turn, instead tap it, remove from combat, and heal all damage on it. Yeah. I like it because I love Zombies, right? This is cool land I'm likely going to play, but the fact that it's not a desert does make me sad. They didn't do it very likely because they can put this in another thing. Like, you could put this in Innistrad, and you might be saying, how? How do you put this in Innistrad? It's called Duneyard. Nefali? Yeah, Nefali has a Drown Yard already, and it is a coastal place. I would not be surprised if it's just like you could have just like a beach in the background of the art, or like water in the background of the art, and then like the foreground of the art is like dune with like an exposed like zombie face, right? Because Nephalia is known for it's fucking zombies, so like you could do that, and I assume that's why they did it. I'm still a little disappointed that this isn't a desert, but it's fine. I like the card. I like when Wizards makes same card but different. I'm sure a lot of people don't. I like when they make same card but different. Aether Siphon. 1 dub blue for an artifact with Start Your Engines. As a reminder, if you have no speed, it starts at 1. Increase it once on each of your turns. When an opponent loses life, max speed is 4. Pay 2, tap it, draw a card. Max speed. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. It's an uncommon. Doesn't really matter because it's... Oh, wait. JK, we're back in Aetherdrift. My dumbass just now noticed. Okay, we're no longer in Commander. We're back in actual Aetherdrift. Excuse me, what? I mean, it's an uncommon. I don't care. It does start your engines. It does allow you to draw cards. If the format is slow enough, which it might be with vehicles. I don't remember how slow vehicles were the first time around. But it could theoretically be, so like maybe the draw card on this is fine. But I personally don't love it. Unswerving Sloth. Move, bitch. Get out the way. 3 dub white for a 5/5 Sloth mount. Psychic Corrosion side grade. Yeah, kinda, yeah. Whenever the creature attacks while saddled, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Untap all creatures you control. Damn, okay. Saddle 4. Yeah, this is actually really dope. Again, this alleviates one of the issues with saddle, which is just like, you have to use... It's similar with vehicles, obviously, because vehicles of crew and saddle are functionally the same. But the idea, right, is like you have to actually like tap creatures to make the power, blah, blah, blah. The fact that this is like, I get to attack with something indestructible, I don't have to care about what it's doing, and since it's saddled, I just get to untap the things I saddled it with. So I'm still able to use them as blockers or use their tap abilities on second main, for example. So I like the card. 5 mana, 5/5. Yeah, no, I like the card. I think it's cool. It gets indestructible, and like it's also just something that you can block with. Like it's fine. Like a 5/5 for 5 is yeah. No, I agree. A 5 mana 5/5 indestructible vigilance, give all your other creatures vigilance is very good. Because it's not just untap the creatures that saddled it. It's untap all your creatures, and I do think it's very valuable. I like the card. I like the card in the wood. In the mud. Canyon Vaulter. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, so wait. teams. Cloudspire. Cloudspire's from Kylum. Inhabitants. That's what I thought. There are no core. Why the fuck is this? Why is a core person writing from fucking Kylum? Whatever. Stupid omen pads. 1 in white for a 3/1 core pilot. Whenever this creature saddles a mount or crews a vehicle during your main phase, that mount or vehicle gains flying until end of turn. All right. She goes crazy with the crewing. 2 mana for a 3 power. 2 mana for a 3/1 is something that you commonly see. Usually they'll have some sort of like protection, but with this, it kind of does, insofar as it's not the one attacking, right? It's crewing something, and it's crewing something relatively well because of the fact that it is a 2 mana with 3 power. If you're playing vehicles or mounts, and you don't have much that can crew so like cheaply, then I think this is a reasonable pickup. I don't think you pick this very early though. This is like a mid to late pack 2, pack 3 pickup. Curse Cloth Wrappings. It's fucking dope ass art, dude. 2 dub black for an artifact. Zombies you control get +1/+1. Tap. Target creature card in your graveyard gains Embalm until end of turn. The Embalm cost is equal to its mana cost. Embalm. Exile that card and pay its Embalm cost to create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a white zombie in addition to its other types and has no mana cost. Embalm only is a sorcery. This is cool. I've said several times before that I'm not a fan of cards that exile cards from my graveyard because I prefer to be able to continually reuse cards in my graveyard because I'm a greedy person. However, if you're in a situation where like you don't care, then that's fine. But also, like, this is just a buff that happens to give you the ability to do this, right? One of the things, like one of the best values from this card is being able to double cast your commander. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I'm playing Gisa, right? Play this on turn 4. I play Gisa on turn 5. For those of you who don't know, Gisa. The Ghoul Caller. Ghoul Caller Gisa. 5 mana, 3/4, human wizard, sacks zombies and does stuff, right? So, let's say I'm playing Gisa. Plays on 4, Gisa on 5. Gisa fucking dies. Instead of putting her directly back in the command zone, I can put her in the graveyard. Then, I can embalm her when I have the mana again, obviously, blah, blah, blah. So I get Gisa again. I'm now going to put her in the command zone because I'm exiling her with the wrappings. And so I kind of get to double dip on that singular cast of Gisa, whereas previously it would fucking suck. One of the reasons that I am sad playing Gisa is because she costs 5. I really wish she cost 4, and I think she would cost 4 in the current Magic landscape, but unfortunately she costs 5 and she has 0 protection. So she do be dying, and it do be very sad continually getting her back into play. But this does help with that. Obviously, this is better, again, in those go wide, tokeny type zombie decks, which Gisa is. She makes a bunch of tokens. So if you're not doing a bunch of the reanimation stuff, and you're instead doing, like, go wide, and you happen to just, like, I don't know, your Grave Titan is dead, and, like, you don't have Grave Spawn Sovereign out right now, you just need more zombies, you can just embalm the fucking dude. Right? Like, there's nothing technically wrong with that. I would love to see a white card that shuffles in cards that get exiled. Like, if a card would be put into exile, its owner shuffles it into the library instead. You could theoretically do putting it on the bottom, but I do think putting it on the bottom is more risky because there are ways to do stupid things with that. Remember to stay hydrated. I like the card. I like the art. I like the card. I will try it in my Gisa deck. I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, I'll try it in my Gisa deck. I think it's interesting. Like if honestly for no other reason than just getting Gisa back. Because she do be dying. Wickerfolk Indomitable is a 3 and a black 4/3 artifact creature scarecrow. You may cast this card from your graveyard by paying 2 life and sacrificing an artifact or creature in addition to paying its other costs. Why? It's just a 4/3. Oh yeah, they could make it specific. Yeah, if a creature would be exiled by being embalmed. Yeah. You do that with the other one, right? Eternalize? You get there to do both of those, but... Why... 4 mana, 4/3... So obviously this is meant to be a limited card. Sacrificing an artifact or creature in addition to paying to other costs. I guess the idea, right, is like... In the late game, if you're top decking creatures that are smaller than this, then you can have this instead of those creatures by paying a 2 life cost. It's a 4/3 though. I don't understand this card. Or it's bad. It could be bad, but I'm more inclined to believe I just don't understand this card. Oh shit. Alright, one sec, my mom's calling. Yes, I did wave to my mother. Saying goodbye despite her being on the phone. If you get 2 of these, you can kill yourself by looping. Yeah, but you still have to pay the other cost. Like, you still have to pay 4. So it would even be a slow death. So I feel like I just don't understand the card. Interface Ace. 1 and a white for a robot pilot. It's a 0/4. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews. Oh. This creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. Whenever this creature becomes tapped during your turn, untap it. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yo! It can double up. Okay. Yeah, this is very cool. Yeah. yeah, you have to pay 4 on the other card, yeah. Yeah, no, this is dope. You get to double up. Whenever this creature becomes tapped during your turn, untap it. This ability triggers only once each turn. So either you can mount/crew something, and then you have a 0/4 blocker, or you get to mount and crew 2 things. 2 minute 0/4. Yeah, no, I think this is probably pretty reasonable if you are in that strategy. It's a common as well, so you're very likely to see a decent number of these. That feels very good. 4 value is relatively high for a crew. So, it's good. Glory Hearth Links. Convoke synergy. True. Glory Heart is a 1 and a white 2/3 cat mount with lifelink. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Saddle for 2. It is basic plains, so you can't get your special plains. What is this? Lifelinks, 2/3. Saddles for only 2. It's not bad. That's what I call a reasonable card. I don't think like, unless you're playing a basic planes commander deck, I don't think that this is one of those good whites. It's not mana accelerant, but like mana guaranteer. I don't think it's good enough to be put in a slot like that. It's possible that it is. Notably, you don't have to deal damage, you just have to attack. So, I think it's fine. I can't say much more about it. I think it is just fine. Land fixing is decent limited. Very true. The main issue there is that you already have to have A planes. So it's only very good if you need double white on a lot of your cards, but you're also playing a secondary color. If that's the case, then I think that it would be, like, that's the maximum value for it, I think. Otherwise, it's just kind of fine. It is just a 2-mana 2/3. Like it's not, when I say fine, I don't mean like, oh, it's fine. I mean like, it's better than a bear and has upside. Don't get it twisted. I would play the crap out of it in limited just because it's a 2-mana 2/3. Like, Mu Yangling, Wind Rider. Guaranteeing a land each term seems quite, seems fine. Yeah, that's true. When this creature enters, create a 3/2 colorless vehicle artifact token with crew 1. It's a 2 blue 2/4 human wizard pilot. Why the fuck is Mu Yangling a pirate? Or a pilot? She's on a quest. Vehicles you control are flying. Whenever one or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Sure. Again, I believe this scales with number of players hit. It obviously does not scale with number of flyers that deal combat damage. I believe it does scale with number of players hit, though. 4-mana 2/4. It makes a vehicle. And the vehicle would be flying, so... Yeah, no, this card is probably pretty decent. 4-mana 2/4 makes a 3/2 that flies. Notably, it makes the... Well, no, because... If you already have a vehicle out, then you can use this to crew it. Or if you have a vehicle that needs 3, then you can crew your... I still think it's fucking hilarious. You can crew vehicles with vehicles, and you can mount saddles. You can saddle mounts with mounts. Yeah, so like you could crew the random vehicle that doesn't have a name. So I'm a little annoyed by that. I was just gonna say car. You can crew the car, and then the car can crew something else, and you can get that hit immediately. So that is good. Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty reasonable card. I hear my computer more than I hear the music in the background. I hate the ding. I hate it so much. Hairless Snare. Did I read this? I don't remember. 2 and a white for an artifact. Start your engines. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. Hey, look, it's banishing light, but an artifact. Max speed. Tap. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Activate only as a sorcery. That's interesting. It is a rare, so it's kind of weird seeing an Oblivion Ring at rare, but it does tings. Put 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, yeah, like this is just removal that does start your engines, and once you hit max speed, it just continually makes your stuff better. And even if you don't have an actual creature, like if you have a vehicle and you're just waiting on a creature to crew it, you're still able to use the ability by just putting it on a vehicle. I think this is pretty cool. I don't like the flavor, honestly. The two effects don't feel connected. It's a story spotlight, so it's possible that, like, loot, like, having loot makes whatever team has him race better or something. It's possible, but I agree that the flavor doesn't make sense. If we're just looking at, like, the card, like, the mechanical flavor of the card doesn't make sense. It's possible that the actual flavor of the card does make sense in context of the story, but I do like its design for being a card. Because, I mean, it's removal, which you want. And it does other stuff, which is good. Nesting Bot. Single white mana for a 1/1 robot with Start Your Engines. When this creature dies, create a 1/1 color servo artifact creature token. Max speed, this creature gets +1/+0. That's fucking weird, dude. Okay, so we have a robot version of not Doom Traveler, because Doom Traveler makes a flyer. Isn't there like a 1-mana cat that dies and gives you another cat? I don't know. We have this type of effect. 1-mana dude turns into another dude when dying. This one starts your engines, which is set mechanic good. If you hit max speed, then it's marginally better. Because it's going to take 4 turns. Yeah, it's going to take 4 turns in order to get to max speed. So once you hit those 4 turns, then like the single buff is not going to matter too much, except maybe in terms of crewing, which, you know, is not nothing. But honestly, like, I think the best part about this card is the fact that it starts your engines on turn 1. Like, this is a way to get that going very quickly, to hopefully max speed relatively early, because you can start your engines. If your opponent doesn't have a 1-drop and you've gone first, then you can go ahead and attack in, get your engine to 2, right, and make it a little bit easier to get to max speed as fast as possible if you're playing gotta go fast dot deck. Yeah. Roadside Blowout. Right, it's magical. Right. I was like, how do you blow out a, like, wood rubber tire? No, ghost car shooting. Is it a ghost car? Or is it a bug car? Because it has, like, a stag beetle thing, but the effects look ghosty. Whatever. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. The spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a permanent with mana value 1. Return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Draw a card. You can target your own things. So if you really just need to get an ETB effect again, or you really just need desperately to draw a card, then, like, this does do that. But it's sorcery speed. Fuck your 1-drop in particular. Yeah. Target creature or vehicle and opponent control. Oh! I didn't read opponent controls. No, you can't target your own thing. This card's garbage. I hate this card. The card, I don't think it's technically garbage. I think this is playable in limited. I don't play these types of effects because I tend not to play blue. Because I'm an Abzan weirdo. But the fact that you can't return your own thing drastically hurts my evaluation of this card. Because it requires you to have a target. If you're in a situation where, like, you really need a card, but your opponent, like, has an enchantment or some nonsense that is, like, really blowing you, you can't do anything about it, right? I don't like that you can't target your own thing. Meh, moving on. End Rider Catalyzer. 1 and a red for a 3/1 human warrior with Start Your Engines. When you hit max speed, you can tap it to add a red. That's interesting. 2 mana 3/1, Start Your Engines. Obviously, this is strong because it has high power, so it can crew / saddle things very well. My evaluation of max speed, like, I'm going to have to play with max speed to evaluate it properly, I think, because it takes 4 turns. Or, sorry, it takes 3 turns, potentially 2. So it really depends on how frequently you can get it onto, because you start your engines is 1. Theoretically, the turn you start your engines, you're able to increase it. Because you can hit your opponent immediately, theoretically. So you go to 2. Next turn, so that's like turn 1. The next turn, then you can do 3. No, it's always, yeah, it's minimum 3. Yeah, it's minimum 3. So, like, it always takes at least 3 turns. So I have to play with it to know how reliably you can get to max speed fast. And by fast, I mean, like, prior to turn 6. Especially for a card like this that gives you mana, but, like, you might not need the mana if you're already at a situation where you have max speed, right? So, I don't know. I do like the card, but I don't know. Oh my god, it's adorable. Also, it's fucking... Either this person is very small. No, that person has to be very small. It's a 1/1. This is a 1/1. Whatever. Brightfield Glider is a single white pip for a 1/1 possum mount with vigilance and saddle 3. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gets +1/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. Okay, maybe it's normally small, and then when it's saddled, it becomes large. I don't know. It has vigilance, which is cool. It can attack as a 2/3, which is cool, I guess. It is saddle 3, so that's not the best, but... Are sugar gliders possums? Because that's a sugar glider. Are sugar gliders possums? It is a possum. It's not an opossum. It's a possum. All right. I learned something new today. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't care about this card. It's weird, and I don't like it because of that. Beast Rider Vanguard, 1 and a green for a 2/2 human knight. Does that dog have wings? That dog has wings. All right. Pay 4 and a green. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them put into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Hey, it's a grizzly bear with a mana sink. What have I said about those in limited? They're great. Now, being able to play this as obviously like a 2-mana 2/2, very nice. You can start crewing stuff. You can start attacking, so you get your max speed in. You have a blocker if your opponent does some bullshit early on with 3/1s. Like, it's a bear. It's good. And then late in the game, being able to just like pay 5 mana when you just have extra mana and nothing to do with it, and being able to get any permanent is quite nice. Typically, you're going to be playing like on average 16, 17 lands, and then like 6 to 10, I think it is, non-creatures. I was just going to be different based on the set, but it's like somewhere around there. So you're very frequently going to be hitting quite nice, because that doesn't like include like my evaluation. That doesn't include the fact that like some of these are going to be artifacts or enchantments, right? So like I think there's a very strong thing to have late game where it's just like I need stuff, and even if it's like 3 lands, right? Those are 3 lands you're not going to draw. Now, you could be in a situation where it's like, oh no, I got 3 good things. Don't think of it like that. Think of it like, I got 3 good things. I get to pick the best for this situation. So yeah, I think this card's actually going to be pretty decent in limited, as long as you have the chance of going late. Carrion Cruiser. Honestly, my man's is styling on him. Fucking Carrion Cruiser, 2 black for a 3/2 vehicle with crew 1. When this vehicle enters, mill 2 cards, then return a creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that's an uncommon. When this vehicle enters, mill 2 cards, then return a creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. That feels very good for an uncommon. No? Like, sure, you're milling 2, which there doesn't seem to be like actual mill in this format, so that's actually not an issue here. Return a creature vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, like you could just get the best thing. Like obviously, if you're playing this on curve, if you have the chance to, I think you're supposed to play this on curve, right? Like if you have this or nothing, then I think you do play it on 3, because there's a chance, like even if there's nothing in your graveyard at the moment, there is a chance that you get something, but you want to make sure that you're like maximizing your mana usage. But like late in the game, this is just like I get my best thing back and I have a vehicle. This feels very strong for an uncommon. Demonic Junker, 6 and a black. This is main set? Yo, Wizards is really being dope with the fact that they're just like printing mechanics. I really do appreciate it. 6 and a black for a 4/3 vehicle with crew 2 and affinity for artifacts. Pretty cool. I like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like when Wizards just accepts that that sometimes they just need to have the name of the thing. Like this could have just been worded, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control, but it has affinity. Like that's good, thank you. Whenever this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. If a creature you controlled was destroyed this way, put 2 1/1 counters on this vehicle. What? When this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1. Bruh, not only do you not have to destroy a creature, because it's up to 1 target. If you do decide, I'm just going to kill this little 1/1 that I have that doesn't matter anymore in this part of the game, this instead of being a 4/3 is a 6/5 with still crew 2. That's cool. Is removal. Yeah, no, this card's probably pretty cool. They got you pushing too many pencils. You son of a bitch. No, this I like this card. Deathburger? The artist's name is Deathburger. Okay. Stock up. Okay, it's a mustache and I'm just gonna say stogie. It's not. It's food, but it fucking looks like a stogie. Stock up. 2 and a white. 2 and a black. 2 and a blue. Words are hard. Sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Is divination but better? Look at the top 5 cards. You're not drawing. I guess it's not better, right? It's divination but different. Because sometimes it's better, like you want to be drawing cards. Sometimes you don't want to be drawing cards. Like this gets around Narset. That's not going to matter in any format at all because no one's going to play this just to get around Narset. Like that's the main thing. I mean, you're not playing divination, right? So look at the top. What? The fact that you look at the top 5 is not bad. Okay, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is play in like standard at the very least. Because looking at the top, like, it is sorcery, which is not great, but looking at the top 5 is pretty nice. Yeah. And then you just put 2 in your hand, and the rest of the bottom in any order. I think this is, like, actively a good divination-esque card. Velo Heart Bike? Is this just the French word for bicycle, then heart, and then bike again? I guess it could be like velocity. Velo, I don't know. When this vehicle, it's a 2 and a green for a 4/2. When this vehicle enters, gain 2 life. Add 1 mana of any color. Crew 2. I do not like 3 mana X2s because they do be dying. Technically speaking, you can have a bear crew this, and then this can crew something that requires 4. But meh. I can't get over this name. This is just the French word for bike. Velo. It's a mana rock with upside. You know what? It is. You're right. This is a 3 mana rock that fixes your mana. It gains you 2 life. And if you need to, it can hit somebody. You know what? You are correct. I was absolutely wrong. This card is actually fine. Yeah, this card is actually totally fine. It helps. Yeah, it helps you mana fix. It technically mana ramps you. It does gain you life, which helps with the slight tempo. It slightly helps with the tempo loss of playing this. Like if you play it on 3 instead of a creature that can be like actively used, and then it does. It can attack if you're at a point in the game where you just need to go vroom vroom. Yeah, absolutely fair. I evaluated it as a vehicle. Evaluate this card as a mana rock. Tune up. Story Spotlight. Hilarious. It's so weird that he's wearing a leather jacket. I don't know. Because, like, this still feels like she's obviously Avishkari. This doesn't look normal. For, Fiora. Dude's wearing a leather jacket. I think it's strange. Anyway, tune up. 3 and a white for a sorcery. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a vehicle, it becomes an artifact creature. Notably, this is not until end of turn. It just becomes an artifact creature. You do not have to crew it anymore. It still has crew. For what that's worth. But you don't have to do it. 4 mana, like we've seen reanimation spells in white that cost 4 mana. Notably, you often are able to do a creature. This only hits artifacts. It can hit artifact creatures, and if it hits a vehicle, it becomes a creature. But I think this depends on. This is one of the cards that you add to the deck like last, right? Like in a vehicle deck, you need to have a certain number of vehicles, and you desperately need to have a certain number of cards that can crew those vehicles. And so if you're in a situation where you have a sufficient number of vehicles that are good, a sufficient number of pilots, not the creature type, but the value, and then you have, you know, removal, for example, then you can like throw this in as the last card. But it is situational, and if it's in your hand early, it's going to be very sad. Explosive getaway. I want to get away. I want to fly away. Well, that's interesting. It's a different team, it looks like. Huh, cool. Anyway. Oh, it's also a Story Spotlight. Cool. Free red-white for a sorcery. Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature card. Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Explosive getaway deals 4 damage to each creature. You blink something. You slow blink something. You wipe the board, and it comes back. I think that's pretty cool. You get ETBs. Like, you get to rebuy ETBs, and it is just 4 damage to everything. It's sorcery, so you can't, like, hit other vehicles. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. District Mascot. It's a single green for a 0/0 creature. Oh no, how does it live? This creature enters with a 1/1 counter on it. It's a dog mount, by the way. Pay 1 and a green, remove 2 1/1 counters from this creature, destroy target artifact. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a 1/1 counter on it, saddle a 1. Huh. I don't like this. Mr. Ryan Roadkill? Not a fan. Creature enters with a 1/1 counter on it. 1 and a green, remove 2, destroy target artifact. You can't hit enchantments with this, but I think that's fine, generally speaking. When this creature attacks while saddled. What exactly does Kelith say? Whenever a commander you control attacks. Okay. But theoretically, the perfect curve in my Kelith Greyhound deck would be... Okay, it's not actually true. The perfect curve is the single green enchantment. Scales. Hardened Scales. Technically, it's Hardened Scales. Kelith, Rayhan, but whatever. But theoretically, you go District Mascot, and then you Kelith, saddle the dog, attack with the dog with 2, then you play Rayhan, saddle the dog with Rayhan, attack with Kelith. Kelith is 2 power, Doggo has 3 power, potentially blow up someone's artifact ramp on turn 4. It's cool. Creature enters. You can, I think you can reasonably play this in Limited. oftentimes I don't love playing 1-drops unless they have like the ability to do more stuff. And I think you're going to be able to get value out of this a decent amount of time with the number of vehicles, because notably you don't have to deal combat damage. You just have to attack. This is not sorcery speed, so you're able to just saddle this card, attack with it. You get the ability. If they decide to block, you're able to just go ahead, remove the counters, blow the thing up that I was going to blow up anyway. Cool, whoop-de-doo, right? So I think it's probably a reasonable card. Bestow Greatness. 2 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until end return. 3 mana +4/+4 with trample? That feels very large. This is going to kill people. This is going to kill the shit out of people. +4/+4 trample. Yeah. You also, obviously, you can use it defensively as well. But yeah, this is going to murder people. That's a yikes. It's a common. It's a common, too. I'm afraid of that card. Legitimately. Pace Setter Paragon. 2 and a red for a 2/3 human pilot. Exhaust of 2 and a red. Put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It gains double strike until end of turn. 3/4 double strike. Notably, you can do this at instant speed. So you can kind of just like hold this up, right? Like you can attack before you play anything else on your main phase. On your main phase 1, you attack and you're like, do it, coward, block, do it, come on, do it. And then you just be like, all right, cool. I'm going to play something else on main phase 2. Or if they don't block, you're just like, all right, that's fine. I'll still activate it and deal 6 damage to you, right? Like, sure. Back on track. Hey, look, it's a very obvious zombie. Because it's missing flesh. 4 and a black. For a sorcery, return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Create a 1/1 colorless pilot with this token. Saddles, mounts, and cruise vehicles. They could have just said saddles and cruise, whatever. As though its power were 2 more. At the tombs before time, the living of Amonkhet made vital alliances with the honored dead. Right. I like to go to Amonkhet so I know what they're talking about. This is your very typical 5 mana reanimate spell with set mechanic. Like, this is a reanimate spell that gives you 2 creatures. Potentially 2 creatures, I should say, because technically it can give you a vehicle, but yeah, no, I like it. If you would normally play those 5 mana reanimation spells, you can play that one. I think it's pretty reasonable. Yo, actually sick though. Who are you? Cosmin Podar? Or Podor? Cosmin, I don't know. Clamorous Ironclad is 3 and a red for a 6/3 vehicle with Menace, Crew 3, and cycling of a single red. Cool card is cool. It's a common, which is pretty dope. The red-black seems to be discarding in this format as opposed to sacrifice, which it is in the most limited formats these days, it seems. So it's discard. Pretty cool. This allows you to get some discard value. It has Menace, so its 3 toughness doesn't matter as much. And it does have Crew 3, but if you have this card early, or you just need to like look for creatures because you don't have any creatures, you just have vehicles, then cycle this. I like it. This is the type of design I can get behind. Gilded Goda is a 1 and a red 2/2 horse mount with saddle 1. Whenever the creature attacks while saddled, make a treasure token. Ooh. Hey, look, it's a bear with upside. What do we say about those in limited? Yes, please. Yeah, bear with upside, pretty cool. Theoretically, like if you play because it's saddle 1, you can play a 1-drop. Play this on turn 2. Turn 3, you can so you have 3 lands. You can saddle this with the 1-drop, get that treasure token, right? You now have 4. You get to play a little bit above curve. That's like best case scenario in a lot of situations, but it's a bear with upside, and we like those. Haunt the Network. What? Is this a max headroom situation? 3 blue-black for sorcery. Choose target opponent. Create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Then the chosen player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Okay. So, like, the saddest is when this is just 5 mana, drain 2, but sometimes you need 5 mana, drain 2. And then, obviously, of course, if you have more artifacts, you can do things. I don't know why winter looks like this. That's supposed to be winter, right? Whatever. I don't care about this card. Embalmed Attendant, on the other hand. 1 white black for a 1/2 Zomble with Start Your Engines. When this creature enters, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. You're paying 3 mana for 3/4 worth of stats. And you get to start your engines. Don't mind if I do. Max speed. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. And I get value? Hell yeah, dude. No, I love this card. Notably, you have to already be at max speed, so it's not like this isn't going to help you get to max speed. Max speed is the way you get to it is opponents losing life. This makes your opponents lose life, but you have to have max speed, blah, blah, blah. I like it. Also, it very obviously is dead. I appreciate when the zombies look like zombies, not like people in bandages. Cool card's cool. I like it. Ranger's Refueler. 1 and a blue for a 3/3 vehicle with crew 2. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, draw a card. This has an exhaust ability. For 4, this creature becomes an artifact creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. Did we see this? I feel like we have seen this. Usually I try not to look at the cards when it's just alternate art, because it's easier for me to remember if I've talked about a card, because I'll just use the normal art, but it's very possible we've talked about this. Regardless, the card is good. It's a 2 mana 3/3 vehicle that has crew of relatively low, right? 2, relatively low. It gives you upside of whenever you activate any exhaust ability, you get to draw a card. Exhaust, I think, is it's either blue-red or blue-green. Limited mechanic. And you're in a situation where you're able to just turn this into a 4/4. That's a normal creature that lets you draw a card, right? That's just good. Haunted Hellride. That's adorable. It's like a creepy teddy bear on the front of the car. 1 blue-black for a 3/3 vehicle with crew 1. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Untap it. You can just target itself, right? You are able to give like weird blue-black vigilance on this, but you're also able to just give it to something else, like something with trample, or you can give it to something that you really want to deal damage, right? Where you're like, I get benefit from dealing combat damage with my whatever card. I'm going to make it have Death Touch, so my opponent's not going to not want to block with it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, right, I should note. I should note, very important. This doesn't have to be crewed to get the value. Right? It's whenever you attack. So, like, you can play this on turn 3, attack with the bear that you played on turn 2, and the bear is a 3/2 with Death Touch that has pseudo-vigilance, right? So that is something that is important. That does make this card potentially better than it seemed like I was saying. I want to point out that I do think the card is good. Dredger's Insight. 1 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever 1 or more artifacts and or creature cards leave your graveyard, gain 1 life. When this enchantment enters, mill 4 cards. You may put an artifact, creature, or land from among the milled cards into your hand. I hate when it says from among the milled cards. In Limited, this is probably fine because the vast majority of your deck, especially in this Limited format, is going to be lands, creatures, or artifacts because vehicles. So you shouldn't whiff too frequently. You will whiff. That's just like an inevitability of probability, unless, of course, you literally have only, like, this is the only enchantment in your deck, and everything else is artifact, creature, or land. But there are ways to whiff with this. So you are able to, like, use this as a weird, like, look at the top 4 and get a thing. But yeah, It's fine. I don't think this is going to matter much in limited. I wouldn't be surprised if this card's just not good. But roadside assistance. 2 and a white for an aura that enchants a creature or vehicle. When this aura enters, create a 1/1 pilot with pilot text. Enchanted permanent gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Interesting. So you can enchant a vehicle. So like you're giving it a tune-up, or you can enchant a creature, and you're giving them a good pat on the back. 3 mana. It enters, make a pilot. I kind of wish it was on cast, because this just suffers from the inherent issues with enchantments, which is with auras specifically, which is just like I'm gonna kill your thing in response. So, yeah, I kind of wish that you get the pilot on cast, but I guess it's whatever. Okay, I can actually hear the music. Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, it's fine. It just suffers from auras. Reckless Velocitar. Because it's a Minotaur. It's a Velocitar. Minotaur. Fuck you. 3 and a red for a 3/3 Minotaur pilot. When this creature saddles or mounts, or saddles or crews during your main phase, that mount or vehicle gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Yeah, it's fine. It's a hill giant with set mechanic. No. Yes. No. Yeah, Gray Ogre is 2 and a red for a 2/2. Hill Giant is 3 and a red for a 3/3. Am I right? I am. Yeah. It's Hill Giant with set mechanic. That's horrifying. Slick Imitator. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 ooze with start your engines and max speed. Sack this creature. Copy target spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's horrifying. Those are actual bones. So this is an ooze that found a corpse and is piloting said corpse. And what is likely the friend of this hammerhead shark, or bonnet head. I don't remember what I called it last time, but bonnet heads are what they're called. The friends are like, bro, are you seeing this shit? I love the art. It's horrifying. This person's done a lot of art that I like. Aether Jacket. Haha, it's a stinger. 3 mana for a 2/1 Thopter with flying and vigilance. Pay 2, tap it, sack it, destroy another target artifact. Activate only as a sorcery. Pay 2, tap, sack it, destroy another target. I guess this had to say another? Because, yeah, you don't pay costs until you've put... Like, part of... Paying the costs is part of the sequence that puts abilities on stack, but you announce the ability technically first, which includes the announcement of the targets. It's the same as casting spells. Actually, like, you'll often see players tap mana before casting the spell, but technically what they're doing in that situation is they're floating mana, and then once it gets to the point in the steps of casting a spell, they pay the mana. But technically speaking, you cast the spell, you declare you're casting the spell first. It's cool. It's fun. It's not. There's like 11 steps or some shit. It's crazy. This is an artifact heavy deck, heavy set. I wouldn't be surprised if this is reasonable to include. Like, even just to pick up one, like, in the quote-unquote sideboard. Transit Mage. The fuck are you? Like, they look like winter, obviously. the vibe is like winter, but like what I mean by that is they're obviously from the house. They're from Duskmorn as one of the pilots, but like why? Like I didn't get a sense from Duskmorn that there were other people like Whisper or Winter. Like it was the creepy cult people and then the survivors. Like that's the insane clown posse. But like I don't know. Whatever. Tone of blue for a 2/2 human wizard. When this creature enters, you may search your library for an artifact card with mana value 4 or 5. Reveal it, put it in your hand. They finally did it. We have all of the mages now. Trinket, treasure, transit, trophy. Is that it? TR mage. Tribute! I forgot tribute. Why is... I hope y'all can hear this. I'm hearing interference. If I hold the mic, I'm grounding it, I guess. Trinket for small, tribute for second, trophy. Then the new one. Transit. And then treasure. They finally did it. They've completed the TR mage cycle. Yeah, it works. Jesus. Gas Guzzler. Single black for a 2/1 vampire rogue with start your engines. This creature enters tapped. Max speed. Black. Sack another creature or vehicle. Draw a card. Sweet Jeebus. Dude, just drinking oil, man. That's crazy. It's an aggressive card. 1 mana 2/1. It starts your engines, so obviously if you want that value, it's good. You probably don't care that this enters tapped, honestly. Max speed, unfortunately, it is another creature, so it does mean that like you can't get the you can't get like to throw this card away like once it's no longer relevant in combat because it's a 2/1, but you can like throw like pilots away and stuff. I don't know. Risen Necro Regent. Again, this one feels more zombie-like. I still don't love the whole, oh wow, there were cats in Amonkhet the whole time, like cat folk. I understand that the plane was reduced to a single large city, but it's just weird to me that there wouldn't have been wandering zombies. Like there were wandering zombies. Like that was a known thing because they were constantly at the gate, the whatever, the fucking dome of Noctamun. So it's just weird that we didn't see any. I don't love that. I didn't like when they did it with Ravnica. Don't get me wrong, I do like the merfolk on Ravnica, and I like the Leonin. I just don't like that they did that. I don't like that, oh, they were technically here the whole time, but they were just super hidden. It's like, that doesn't make any sense, but it's whatever. 4 and a black for a 5/4 zombie cat knight with start your engines, and at max speed, beginning of your end step, make a 2/2 black zombie creature token. 5 mana 4/5 is not great. 5 mana 4/5 that at some point allows you to get a new creature at the beginning of your end steps is not bad. Depends again on how slow you're able to play in this format. You could say that the zombies were underground. I guess you could say the zombies were underground. Who doesn't love a good CSI Miami meme? Yeah, the card's like fine. Ooze Patrol. That is a car ooze whose tires are hands that spin. That's fucked. Oh, it's eating. Okay, never mind. 3 and a green for a 2/2 ooze. When this creature enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards, then put a 1/1 counter on this creature for each card in your graveyard that is an artifact or creature. What? There's a battlefield, mill 2 cards, then put a 1/1 counter on this creature for each card in your graveyard that's an artifact or creature. This could be very large. It doesn't have any evasion. But it's cool. I do love me some ooze. Gas Doll Rider. Hey, Wizards, can we stop making incredibly hot vampires? 2 and a black for a 2/1. Vampire Rogue. Start your engines! When this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it. That player discards that card. Max speed, this creature gets +1/+1 and has menace. I feel like in this set more than others, the discard ability is going to be not the best. But having a 3/2 with menace for 3 is not bad. And like you have the ability to sometimes get a discard, so it's probably fine. But I do think like if this were a more typical limited environment, this would be a little bit better than it is in this one. Hand hate on embodied that can get larger and has evasion. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think that if this were a different limited environment, it would actually be noticeably better. Racer's Scoreboard. 4 mana for an artifact. Start your engines. When this artifact enters, draw 2, then discard A. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. People betting? I feel like people are betting. Wizards promoting gambling. Yeah, like this dude chose a losing team. This dude's the one like talking about bets, taking bets. I don't know what the this thing is. Oh, it's a Loxodon. Okay. It took me a long time to grok that image. Wizards over here promoting sports gambling. This card does like literally nothing. Yes, it draws 2 cards, discards a card. Like, it's not literally nothing. I don't know if the tempo loss at 4 is what you want. Again, I think it depends on how slow this format is, but I don't like the idea of playing this card in my limited deck. I would rather just play something that works towards murdering my opponent. Voyage Home. 5 blue white for a sorcery with affinity for artifacts. You draw 3 cards and gain 3 life. Cool. I will say I find it kind of interesting. I don't know what the crackling is, but I don't want to keep my hand up. I find it interesting that this essentially is like the style of speaking as it's like JX something from Knights of the Old Republic. I'm gonna look because I don't remember. Observation. At current rate of travel, Jesus. At current rate of travel, eventual rediscovery of home is mathematical inevitability. Firm imperative. Let's go. But it'd be like observation. You're a bag of flesh. KOTOR or robot. HK47. Please tell me this has quotes. I'm disappointed that you have no quotes. Ah. Yeah, he calls people organic meat bags. And then when someone calls him on his like, retraction. Did I say that out loud? Good shit, good shit. Fun game. I really like the Kodor. Card is cool. River Churn Monument. Hey, look! They're making new monuments for the gods. That may or may not be new completely or just like... I don't fucking know. 1 and a blue for an artifact. Pay 1, tap it. Any number of target players each mill 2 cards. Cool. Exhaust 2 dub blue. Tap any number of target players each mills cards equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. Don't take this unlimited. The chance of this working out, I feel like, is so low. Oh, but Justin, you only have to have 20 cards in their graveyard. If the format is super slow, sure. I don't trust it. Of course, you can like still use it to force them to mill cards. I just don't. There are plenty of cards in this set that care about stuff in the graveyard that I don't love the idea of doing this. As opposed to playing to the board. Great art, though. Can't deny that. Thundering Broodwagon. Fucking waving ass spider. Goblin's freaking out. Yeah, cough, fraying sanity. Yeah, but that doesn't really matter all that much. Right? Because the... Because they're going to have... Okay, so like... So since it's Fraying Sanity, and Fraying Sanity is not limited, obviously, this would be in 60 card format. So you would need... yeah, you'd still need 20 cards, right? You'd have roughly 20 cards in the graveyard. You exhaust to mill them for roughly 20 more. And then Sanity would take the remainder out. But Thundering Broodwagon. I feel like I talked about this card as well, but if I know. 2 dub black, dub green for a 6/5 vehicle with Menace, Reach, Crew 3, and Cycling of 2 generic. When this vehicle enters, destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls with mana value 4 or less. Blow it up! I like this card. It has Cycling, so if you just need something else, you can get rid of this. It has Menace and Reach, which is pretty cool. And you get to hit, you just get to blow something up. Sure, it's mana value 4 or less, but like, when are you not going to have that? Like, blow something up, man. That's cool. I like it. Veteran Beast Rider. This looks like Ravnik and Wolves. I mean, I guess since it's not specifically the Selesnya symbol, but they do look like Selesnya wolves. That wolf is way too happy. Nah, dude, this wolf doesn't get to get out that much. So this wolf is fucking beaming, dude. Like, I get to fucking tear shit. Hell yeah, dude. This is the best zoomies these wolves have ever had. Veteran Beast Rider, 1 green white for a 3/4. Damn. Human Knight. Beginning of your end step, untap each creature control. Pay 2 green white. Creature control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So I guess green white has pseudo vigilance in this format. No, I'm pretty sure it's the mount deck. So that's cool. I don't really care all that much about the abilities. I like that this is a 3-mana 3/4. I see 3-mana 3/4 in Abzan colors, and I'm like, hell yeah. To be fair, if she was writing me, I'd be happy too. I didn't mean it like that. I can't get a good vibe on her, so I'm gonna maintain neutrality on that. Dune Drifter. Yeehaw motherfucker. X white black for a 3/3 vehicle with crew 2. When this vehicle enters, return target artifact or creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty good. See, this is hilarious. The Amit Aegis Foot. See, like, this is supposed to be a zombie, I think. This one, not a zombie, I think. These, obvious zombies, because they have fucking missing parts, man. This card seems fine. Like, even at its worst, it's a 2-mana 3/3 vehicle that has crew 2. Like, the very worst is that. And then you can just, like, get it's artifact. It's not even, like, vehicle specifically. It's any artifact. So you can just buy back the dumbest shit. No, this is cool. I'd play it. Riptide Gearhulk. I saw people upset about this card on Reddit, but it's Reddit, so this is not really a surprise there. 1 dub white, dub blue for a 2/5 construct with double strike and prowess. When this creature enters, for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library third from the top. You get to tuck something that each player has. Or not full tuck, but you know. You get to hide something. It has double strike. It starts out with 2 power. It has prowess, so it can get bigger. It costs 5. This card seems fair to me. Like, am I insane? Like, this card costs 5 mana. 2 double pips. Right? Double white and double blue. It has double strike, but it doesn't, it, like, is not inherently strong. It is 2 power. It has prowess, yes. Which means if you put effort into it, the card can get dumb fast. But this card seems, like, fine. This seems like normal Wizards of the Coast card. And it doesn't even remove the thing completely. It puts it away for a bit. This art is fucking dope. Very shiny. I do not see a problem with this card. Is it good? Yes. I don't think it's, like, insane, though. Hey, look, it's a literal speed demon. 3 dub black for a 5/5 flying trample legendary demon. With start your engines. At the beginning of your end step, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your speed. Notably, this maxed out at 4. Your max speed is 4. 5 mana, enter as a sword, basically. 5 mana, enter a sword, basically long bounce, 1 thing for each opponent, and then needs mana spent on the next turn to swing in with no evasion. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good, but not dumb. One of those cards that makes me sad that max speed is 4. No, I think max speed being 4 is fine. Because they had the balance. I think they had the balance between getting to max speed at a reasonable pace and scaling effects through max speed, right? Like, if max speed were 5 or 6, would this card, like, be more dumb? Yes. But then it'd be harder for you to get to max speed for the more aggressive cards that want you to get to max speed. So I think 4 is probably gonna, like, a good thing, and I think it's going to feel good in limited. I don't know, obviously, but yeah. So for what it's worth, this comes down 5 mana, 5/5 flying tramples. Since you start your engine, you get that 1 immediately, right? So at the very least, you're going to be drawing a card at the end of this turn, as long as it's still fucking alive. But since this does come out on 5, you can, you know, even if your engines aren't started, you start your engines, you attack in with the creatures you do have, potentially get up to 2, you get to draw 2 cards. Like, that's very good. You can just replace max speed with if your speed is 4 or greater, which gives more granularity. Since we all know there's never enough speed, it's possible that they try. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try that and they just decided that it was too much, whatever. But no, like that would work theoretically. No. Diversion unit. Actual sad robot. It has the fucking crying eyes, dude. It's got the TT tilde TT capital T 1 and a blue for a 2/1 flying robot. With pay a blue, sack this creature, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 3. Declarative. Goodbye. Oh, this is fucked up, man. Yeah. It's an evasive card that you can sack and have a light counterspell. I think it's cool. Hey, it's a mono blue tempo card. That's true, but it costs 2 mana and doesn't have flash. I think that makes me hate it significantly less. The fact that it doesn't have flash, and the fact that it does cost 2 instead of costing like 1, for example. Oh, okay. This thing got shot out of... So this is the robot people's truck, or car, whatever. And they shot it out at, I believe, a goblin card. The Rocketeers or whatever. And it bounced off so fucking hard. Needing to actually play cards in your turn is terrible. Loxodon Surveyor. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Elephant Scout with Start Your Engines. Max speed 3. Exile this card from your graveyard. Draw a card. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with upside. It starts your engines. When it's dead, you have value out of it. Cool. Card is what I like to call Beast. Gastal Blockbuster. Madam, you're missing a wheel. Should be fine. 2 and a red for a 3/2 human berserker. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice a creature or vehicle. When you do, destroy target artifact an opponent controls. You can hit any artifact, but like, you could sack a creature or vehicle. You can't kill a creature, which makes sense, I guess. Sacrifice a creature. You can sack itself. That is the best part about this card, is the fact that you can sack itself. So this can just be a very expensive artifact removal, but in a set where there's a bunch of vehicles running around, I wouldn't be surprised if this is reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. You are correct that its opponent's controls, which is very annoying. Sometimes you just want to be able to target your own stuff. Maybe something was donated to you, and you're like, I don't want this shit. Like not Bronze Bombshell. Damn it. There's like a Zedger artifact that makes it so like you can't steal Golem? Steal. I'm a god. Although I guess you wouldn't be able to cast this. You wouldn't be able to cast the Gasol Blockbuster if you had this card anyway, but... I know too many Magic the Gathering cards. Scrap Compactor. Hilarious. Single generic for an artifact. 3 tap sack it. Deal 3 damage to target creature. 6 tap sack it. Destroy target creature or vehicle. Huh. We've seen stuff like this before, like Universal Solvent, I think. Yeah, so this one, though, scales, right? Like, if you need it early to kill something early, then you are able to just, like, pay 4 mana total to Lightning Bolt the creature. But once you get to later in the game, you're able to pay more and just outright destroy something. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's hilarious that it's... Wait. From the screaming of Duskmourn's possessed metal came the happy cries of freed souls. Jesus Christ, man. It was fucked up. Pride of the Road. Fur's looking a little green. I guess this is fine. Three Hando White for a 2/5 zombie cat warrior. With Vigilance, start your engines. Max speed at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature or vehicle you control gains double strike until end of turn. Hey, look, you can give your 2/5 double strike. It has Vigilance. No, but the fact that it has Vigilance is cool. Yeah. The reason it's cool that it has vigilance is because it has start your engines. And since it has a big ass, like, you can kind of attack in with this with more or less impunity to try and get your engines going. Yeah, it's fine. It's better pillar field, fort, whatever, ox. This is a blue shell. It's literally a blue shell. Spike Shell Harrier. Yeah. Spike Shell Harrier. 4 and a blue for a 4/4 robot turtle. When this creature enters, return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If that opponent's speed is greater than each other player's speed, reduce that opponent's speed by 1. This effect can't reduce their speed below 0. Target acquired. Resolution. Imminent impact. It is literally a spiky blue shell in a racing set. We're playing Mario Party, boys. Mario Kart. Whatever. I find this hilarious. And it's 5 mana for this effect. We've seen cards like this in other limited environments. 5 mana around 4/4 to bounce something. This also has set mechanic. Yeah, it's possibly fine. Daring mechanic. Hey, look, it's Mario. 2 and a white for a 3/3 human artificer. Pay 3 and a white. Put a 1/1 counter on target mount or vehicle. Notably, this is not once per turn. This is not sorcery speed. This is not exhaust. You get to just do that shit. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with hella upside at common. I'm taking this card. It's a knockoff Mario. Instead of being a plumber, he's a mechanic, and instead of wearing red, he wears orange. Just a few more bolts. Shark on your right, and we should be good to go. Actually funny. Yeah, this card feels like a very solid limited card. Who the fuck is sending me an email? Oh, Ole Miss. Spire Mech Cycle, I guess. Hoard a red for a 5/4 vehicle with haste and crew 2. Exhaust, tap another untapped mount or vehicle you control. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put a 1/1 counter on it for each mount and or vehicle you control other than this vehicle. It's very sad that you can activate only once each turn. Or once exhaust abilities once. Very sad. Why is there no 2 black 3/3 with 3 and a black, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle with the same art except Wario? Bruh, true. What was that dude's name? Daring Mechanic? You know a word that like rhymes with daring, but like bad? Let's see. I mean, it could be airing. Tearing. Tearing works. Snaring works. Yeah. Like snaring mechanic. Tearing mechanic. Or airing mechanic. I think all of those work. Then yeah, dude just looks like a Wario. So instead of yellow, I guess it's like a mustard brown. This card is cool but sad because exhaust is only once. Trade the Helm. Actual pirates doing pirate shit. 4 and a blue for a sorcery with cycling of 2 generic. Exile control of target artifact or creature you control and target artifact or creature an opponent controls. Alright. Just swap some shit. Give them a token that's Garbo. Take their best thing. Sure. Once again, notably, this is not vehicle. This is any artifact. Meh. Goblin's just getting launched. I wonder how many deaths there are in this set compared to others, considering this is just a race. But there have been explosions in damn near every card art. Wow, look, more explosions. Jesus. These games are driving like idiots. Wow. Collision Course. 1 and a white for a sorcery. Choose 1. Collision Course deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of permanents you control that are creatures and or vehicles. Or destroy target artifact. We've seen effects like this before. Do something based on the number of stuff you have. Destroy a thing. Or make a thing. Right, we've seen like the Might Invasion or whatever from All Will Be One, which is like 3 mana. I think it's an instant. You can like make 2 mites, something like that, or you can dome a creature based on the number of creatures you control, something like that. These effects are fine because this is an artifact set, and it's an artifact set. This is probably fine to play in your main if you have sufficient number of creatures and vehicles, I suppose. Afterburner Expert. All right, this Gobbo's a little cute. He's having so much fun. 2 and a green for a 4/2 Goblin Artificer with Exhaust 2 dub green. Put 2 1/1 counters on this creature, so it can become a 6/4 for a total of 7 mana. I guess that's fine. Whenever you activate an Exhaust ability, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Excuse me? No, this card is dope, actually. No, this card's actually sick. Dude, imagine having 2 of these. Actually dope. Remember, when this switches zones, it is not the same thing. It is not the same entity. So if you use Exhaust, then it dies, and then you use an Exhaust effect and you get this back, you can use Exhaust again, because it is not connected to what it used to be. Yeah, no, this is actually really cool. I like this card. This is a cool way, in my opinion, of doing an exhausty dude, because like this is a 3 mana 4/2, right? Like I've said before, I don't love stats that are 3 mana X2s. I really don't love 4 mana X2s, but 3 mana X2s are still kind of mad to me. But this is just exhaust payoff, and it does exhaust itself, so it works with your other exhaust payoff. This is cool. It's a cool card if you're playing the exhaust deck. Maybe even if you're not, this is probably a reasonable limited pickup. Pit Automaton. Holy, that's a head. That's spooky. I don't like that. I don't like. It's like it is the floor. I don't like that. Pit Automaton, 2 mana, 2 generic for a 0/4 construct with Defender. Tap, add 2 mana, spend this mana only to activate abilities. 2 and tap whenever you next activate an exhaust ability this turn. Copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Oh yeah, okay. Works with exhaust for toughness. So it lets you get the exhausty off, because it gives you some time as a blocker. Yeah, it's fine. Rise from the Wreck. 2 and a green for a sorcery. Return up to 1 target creature card, up to 1 target mount card, up to 1 target vehicle card, and up to 1 target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. This is 3 mana for a potential 4 cards. So you can get any creature card. If you have a creature that's a mount, you can get that. If you have a vehicle, you can get that. And then if you just have a vanilla creature, which are in this set, you can get that. It's funny, because we've not had vanilla creatures for a long time, but Muraganda is kind of known as a vanilla creature plane, which is why it's in this set, frankly. Wizards would not be able to... Like, I believe them in this. I don't think they would be able to design a full set on a plane where one of the gimmicks is vanilla creatures and basic mana. Like, those are 2 of the themes of Muraganda, and I don't think they would be able to do it. So they have done it here, and I think that's cool, and I like this card. Fang Druid Summoner. Why the fuck does this ape have fangs? That's weird, man. Hey, look, it's some Muraganda Petroglyphs in the background. Anyway, 3 and a green for a 2/4 Ape Druid with Reach. Why the fuck do you have Reach? Whatever. When this creature enters, you may search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with no abilities. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Yeah, as I said, difficult for Wizards to make a full set with these cards, but you can make a few here and there. You can play this, you get a generic creature. I still think it's weird that this thing has fangs, but whatever. Hyrox Saurid Tyrant. This is the only card with Saurid in its name. I mean, it's like Saurid Dinosaur, but whatever. Who the f are you, man? Tyrox Saurid Tyrant, 1 and a red for a legendary creature. Dinosaur Warrior, 4/1. This is a generic creature. It crews and mounts real good. It also dies to everything. The Avishkari delegation consider their treaties with the Saurid autocracy. Settled, but that was a crucial misunderstanding. To the autocracy, diplomacy is a matter of power, not paper. Testing the Grand Prix's defenses is merely their way of making a counteroffer. Is a mighty state on the plain of Morganda. Gotcha. And they're human subjects who are called softskins. Interesting. What the fuck? Raiders from the autocracy are typically composed of mixed units of immortal, shedskin, and softskin cavalry who ride armored flatback raptors and larger beasts. Okay, actually, I'm now upset, Wizards, because this sounds cool. I do have to say, hey, smooth skin. Welcome to the Capital Wasteland. It's a fucking hell. Oh, these? Yeah, I smoked these. These are pre-war. Real good smoke, smooth skin. Anyway, yeah, this is generic dinosaur man from Morganda. Hey, look. Calaxion, or Calaxion, Hunger Tyrant. 1 dub black for a legendary creature crocodile. Crocodile. It's a 7/2. They have to be vanilla. They don't have to be fucking garbage. This card's bad. Like, I guess it trades in blocking, and it mounts everything, but like, fucking, I hate when things have 2 toughness and they have a huge amount of power. It doesn't have any evasion. It's a vanilla creature. Whatever. She sucks, but she's vanilla. Oh my god! It's another one. Tarian, World Tyrant. Red, black, and green. Wow. 2 triple green for a 9/7. Thank you. Legendary creature, Dinosaur Ooze. What the fuck is wrong with his leg, dude? Or no, that's a tail? I don't know, man. Everything is true, yeah. Fucking, it's a 9/7 for 5. It could have been a 9/9. I don't know why they're doing this. Bigger power than toughness, but whatever. It exists. Spectacular Pileup. 3 dub white for a sorcery. All creatures and vehicles lose indestructible until end of turn. Destroy all creatures and all vehicles. Cycling of 2. Hey, look, it's 5-mana board wipe with set mechanic. I like blank with set mechanic. I know some people don't. I actively like blank with set mechanic because typically they're going to be side grades as opposed to upgrades. And X with set mechanic makes it makes power creep a little bit less of a problem. Obviously, power creep still exists because haha flashy cards, but like this isn't objectively better than any of the other 5-mana board wipes. Right? It's a 5-mana board wipe that does something else. Oh, okay. Yeah, Adrenalinator. I hate this naming convention, Wizards. I really do. It's a 2 and a red Minotaur Pilot. It's a 3/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, this creature deals 4 damage to the... Ooh! Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, this creature deals 4 damage to them. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. I don't give a fuck about the second thing. Regenerate isn't indestructible. True. I do not care at all about the exhaust portion of this. I see this as I'm going to punish my opponent for playing tempo. Yes. So this is in Italian, and I do not speak Italian. Ovinco, io o perdiamo entrambi. Skegly 2. I'm going to assume this is win. The closest thing I can think of in French for this is forget. No. No, that's oublier. I don't remember what the word I'm thinking of is here. This is close to together. And then 2 is you. So something about winning together and you, maybe? I don't speak Italian. Actually, can I? No, I can't. Obviously, dumbass. Siege Renault. What? This is obviously Siege Scarab. It says Scarab right there. Okay, I guess it's a car manufacturer. It's just Siege Scarab though. Whatever. 2 black green for a 6/6 vehicle with trample and crew 2. When this creature enters, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3. Excuse me, what? I win or we all lose, you decide? Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I was so close. I win. Or, yeah, lose. Yeah, lose. That's what it was. Because win is like a Gagne, and lose is like a Perdo or something. Perde, something like that. Yeah. I don't know to decide, but this is you. If you know one Romance language, you can maybe kind of work out some of the other ones. I will say some are closer to others than others. Italian is definitely the hardest for me to like guesstimate since I know French. Followed, I think, by Portuguese and then Spanish, but it also could just be that I have more familiarity with Spanish because I'm in the US. Romanian, that's difficult because that's a Romance language mixed with Cyrillic. So it's difficult. This card's stupid. It's a 4-mana 6/6 crew 2. And it drains on enter. That seems real good. Yeah, this seems stupid. I'm not even gonna try. Ride's End. 4 and a white. For an instant, the spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a tap permanent. Exile target creature or vehicle. Many brought weapons to the race. This team built them along the way. Okay. Army a la Gara. Race. I don't know what race is in French. But this, that would make sense. Questa, I wouldn't know, is this, but Squadra makes sense as team. And then makes, I wouldn't know this though. Yeah, this is a expensive white removal spell that costs a little bit less if thing happens. It's removal. Sometimes it costs 2. A lot of times it's going to cost 5. It's removal. And sometimes you just need that shit. Flood the engine. Haha, get it? Because this is an actual flood, but flooding the engine is a thing that you can actually do with the real cards. I don't know exactly what it means to flood the engine. I just know it's a thing that can happen. Tona Blue! For an aura that enchants a creature or vehicle, when this aura enters, tap Enchanted Permanent. Enchanted Permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Get fucked. This is sleep enchantment with set mechanic being vehicle. Unstoppable Plan. I still think that all of the Planeswalkers who were Phyrexianized should have more leftover shit from that. Like, in my opinion, Jay should not be able to have removed the eye wires. Right? Like, something from each of them should have, in my opinion, stayed. Like, Ajani, I think he should have kept his red eye. Not sure about Fresca, but I think all of them should have been forced to keep something that is from them being Phyrexianized, but whatever. I don't make the game. I wish I did, but I don't. Hey, look, it's Jace's symbol. He do be mind sculpting people. 2 and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. What do you mean, consequences? Consequences is one of those. I think it's cool that Jace is back in his base garb. I do think it's kind of cool. It's a story spotlight. So I don't know if he's just telling the plan to all of the leaders of the teams, but I also don't care. This seems power creep. It doesn't untap lands, is the thing. Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's power creep per se. And the main reason, honestly, is the fact that it doesn't hit lands. Yeah, I do. Don't get me wrong. I think it's probably strong. Yeah. Yeah, this seems reasonable. Yeah. Hey, look, it's Jace. Rip Claw Wrangler. It's a Jeep Wrangler, built Jeep tough. 3 and a black for a 4/3 vehicle with crew 2. When this vehicle enters, each opponent discards a card. If you're playing a deck that wants discard and a 4/3 and a vehicle, it seems fine, I guess. It's actually cool art, but it's also normal. That's crazy. Card's okay. Green Belt Guardian. Uh-oh. Grizzly Bear with upside. 1 and a green for a 2/2 Elf Ranger with single green. Target creature gains triple until end of turn. And exhaust. Pay 3 and green. Put 3 1/1 counters on this creature. This card seems fucking awesome. It's a Grizzly Bear with upside because it can give something triple. So it can crew a vehicle or a saddle a mount, and since it doesn't have to tap, you can give trample. You get to give anything trample, right? So in a multiplayer format, you are able to just fuck up people's turns that aren't your turn, right? It's oh, you're attacking them? All right, your thing has triple. Your chump block was meaningless, right? And then of course, for 4 mana, you put 3 on this. It becomes essentially it's a 6 mana 5/5. But again, it's a 6 mana 5/5 across multiple turns where it has another ability that makes it good. Like I think this card is very good. Oh my god, it's the Mimeoplasm. Jesus Christ. It's back. Mimeoplasm Revered One, X Black Green Blue for a 0/0 Legendary Ooze. Hell, it gets more Ron Spencer. This one, I don't like the art for, because, as I said before, it is gross. As Mimeoplasm enters, exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard. It enters with 3 1/1 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way. Pay 2 generic. Mimeoplasm becomes a copy of target creature card exiled with it, except it's a 0/0 and has this ability. You can't give trample after assigning blockers, though. You can still give trample. People still have priority after blockers are declared. Assigning blockers isn't a thing. Kinda. Is the declare blocker step where you declare which creatures are blocking which. And you have the ability to do stuff after that. Wait, exhaust is just adapt? Kind of. The difference is that adapt cares about the thing having a 1/1 counter. If the creature has no 1/1 counters on it. So with adapt, if you put a 1/1 counter on it some other way, you're not able to do the adapt thing. And then if you remove that 1/1 counter later, even if you've already adapted, you can adapt again. Right? Whereas with the exhaust, if you've used the ability, it has been used. Even if those counters are removed, blah, 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 the ability has been used. This Mimeoplasm is interesting. I wish that this card was worded so incredibly slightly differently. As Mimeoplasm enters, exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard, put a slime counter on them, or like with a slime counter. Exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard with a slime counter. It enters with 3 1 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way. Then the ability becomes a copy of target exiled creature card with a slime counter on it. That way you get to continue to do things. I really dislike when you have a thing that exiles things en masse and you're not able to get more, like you just get boned from it. I'm a greedy graveyard man, so like but still it's what I like to call Sag. All right, so that was all we had. Is there anything new? Does not appear so. Nope, no new commander stuff. All right. Adapt and exhaust don't really have much in common. I mean, they kind of do insofar as like they're activated abilities that have restrictions on their ability to be activated. Hey, it's not cold everywhere. Oh, my throat hurts again, and it's again dinner time. Making things a pain to keep track of. Yeah, if honestly though, if Wizards doesn't like have essentially like a token punch card like they did for Ikoria, where it has like exhausted, I'm gonna be upset. Because you should have that shit. But whatever. But yeah, I will return some other day. I think I still have, I think I have like VODs into February, or yeah, like into mid-February. I still have to figure out what I want to do with the Elden Ring VODs. I might, because like I don't want to not give those actual thumbnails, but I also don't want to go back into the game to get thumbnails for it, because it's just, there's a lot of episodes, and I probably might end up like not publishing them, like publishing them, just like having them in a thing. Just grab a pen and cross the ability. Yeah, that's not horrible. It's not the same. Yeah, I shall, when does the set come out? Oh, fuck off. Release date, February 14th. Wait a minute. That's what I thought. It's very funny. It's very funny. It was, it's not like I have anyone, so. February 14th. That's... Boop. Boop. Okay. Yeah. I will attempt to be drafting this set. I don't even remember the set that, like, just came out on Arena. Not like anyone here has a date. Be real. I'm doing my best with this fucking depression shit, man. Sucks, but we're doing okay. Yeah, I'll be back at some point, fucking talking about more of the spoilers. I want to stream Crusader Kings, but it keeps crashing my computer, and I haven't figured out why exactly. So until I can make it not crash my computer, I can't stream it. But like, there's so much drama in my Crusader Kings 3 game. I have the King of France, who's a child, and his little brother in my prison because I abducted them. I have his little sister as a ward because he gave his dad, I think, his father, gave her to me as a ward so that I wouldn't, essentially, so like we would be cool and I wouldn't beef with his ass because he knew I didn't like him. So she's still my ward. She's not in prison. I'm just like teaching her things, and I essentially have control over her life. And then I had the older sister in prison, but my dumbass released her into, I think it was joining my court. I don't remember exactly. But I lost her because when her father died, her brother became the king, and so the situation like was different. Like, I didn't have her captured like from the dad king. It was the brother king. So like I have to wait like 2 more years before I can abduct her again. And then I also have the Queen Mother of France in my prison because fuck that bitch. Why did I do this? Why did I do this, you might ask? They killed my wife. My wife was the first daughter of the King of France. We'll say number 1 in this story. It's not actually the first, but the first King of France. His eldest daughter was my wife. Because my father, who was me, betrothed them. Okay, whatever. Then he died without having any sons. So he had the eldest daughter and 3 or 4 other daughters. He did not once get a male. And of course, we're Catholic, only males can inherit. So he dies. The next in line to the French throne is his brother. He's dead. His brother, now the king. So now, instead of being married to the princess, she's still technically Princess of France, but like the eldest actual like princess in the line of France, I'm now married to the niece of the King of France. I'm like, okay, whatever. My plan is I'm going to put my wife on the throne. I'm going to become King of France, and then I'll finally be able to drive the Muslims out of Spain. Look, it's a historically accurate game. The Muslims are fucking up Spain, dude. They are destroying me. Not even me. They're destroying everyone. Luckily, right now, they're at war with the Holy Roman Empire. And hopefully that'll fuck them up a little bit. Alright, I'm getting off track. This is why I want to play CK3 on stream. Because there's so much drama. So, uncle. Her uncle is the King of France. My plan is to put her at, on the throne. Because she has a claim to the throne of France. This motherfucker kills his niece. He and his wife kill his niece, my wife, the princess of the previous king of France. Immediately, I'm like, oh, you're fucked. I'm gonna kill your entire family and then kill you. Unfortunately, his punk ass bitch died. I killed his firstborn. Then I was like, I probably don't want to kill any more children. It didn't feel good. So instead I abducted them. So I started abducting his children. He died. So I couldn't torture him last. The plan was abduct all of them, then him, then torture him in prison, then kill him. Because I technically was going to kill his entire family, but then I was like, that's a bit far. So yeah, now there's currently one member of that royal house of France not in my prison. I am the Duke of Toulouse. And they're in my jail. The Queen Mother, the actual King of England, or the King of France, is in my prison. And then his younger brother, and then his sister is in my court. I have to finish doing nonsense. I have to wait, because I abducted her previously, so I can't abduct her again. Whatever, so I have to wait. I can't abduct her until a certain amount of time has passed, so I have to abduct her again. So right now, in CK3, typically, I want to play CK3 on stream. I don't know if you can tell. It's literally a fucking drama game, but for nerds. So my wife dies, right? I'm so mad, dude. We were doing so well. She dies. I know that as just the Duke of Toulouse, I cannot take on France in its entirety by myself. Because if I fuck up abducting, everyone knows that I've abducted them, because that's just how abducting works in the game for some stupid reason. So everyone knows I have them in my dungeons. Luckily, they don't hate me for it. Because not many people like the King of France. Because he's stupid, he does dumb shit. So, if I fail at abducting him, though, then he would likely declare war on me. And that would be an issue because I have substantially less than his army. So I have to seek an ally. I go to the King of England and I say, hey, you hate France, right? I know I'm French. I would like an alliance. And he says, cool. Marry my daughter. Or technically betroth my daughter, because she was, like 7 at the time. My character was 21, I think, at the time. Remember, historically accurate. I didn't feel comfortable, but I needed his help. So, I have an alliance with the King of England, right? The plan is, now, deal with the Muslims from not destroying me, because they're at my southern border, right? I'm in Toulouse, which is right on the bottom of fucking France. Let's see. PK3 map. That's not what I fucking wanted to. I just want the starting map. The starting map. That is the starting map. Okay. So this is like the starting map, right? So I'm Toulouse, which is like this area here. Right, then we got like Aquitaine / Gascoigne. We got like Burgundy. We've got Champagne. We got Blois. We got Berry around here somewhere. We got like Anjou. And then this, of course, is Normandy. Yes, and then this is Brittany, not a part of France initially. So during this time, right, Spain essentially is just the top row, because the Muslims have come in and conquered a lot of the southern Spain. And so in my game right now, it is just, I think it is just a Muslim empire now. I don't think there's any more Spanish rulers. There are still Spanish people, there are still Catholics there, but their emperor, or whatever he's, the Grand Sultan or something like that, is Muslim. So I'm like right here, and I own like all of this, and then a little up here as well. But they're at my door, right? And they're way bigger than me. They're bigger than me and England put together. So I can't deal with them. Except I'm a schemer. So I'm able to do 2 plots instead of 1. You can only have 1 hostile plot at a time, but I get to have 2, which means I'm able to assassinate 2 people at once. So the thing is, with their succession laws, when the head dies, his land is primarily, his main title is given to his eldest son, but he has several wives. All of his children are, or all of his sons at least, are entitled to some amount of his territory. He has a lot of children, which means when he dies, his realm will be fractured, and they will likely attempt to fight each other for the power, like to take the realm, to congeal it into one. So my plan is assassinate him, assassinate his strongest commander, because I don't want to fight that dude in battle. Then, hopefully by then, I've become the King of France via I probably killing all of the current male French people that I have access to, because I kind of have to in order for the my wife, or oh right, I don't know, Comania. Yep, it's Comania. But yeah, even if I'm not full France, have myself and England kind of like destroy the Muslims in Spain. Hopefully I get access to Spain, drive out all the Muslims, of course, and well, not all of them. I think some of them have converted to Catholicism, but they might be forced to convert back now. Then with the bulk of Spain, I can then take several steps down the road. But yeah, no, I want to play CK3 because it's so fun to just talk about this shit. It's like talking about a book, man. It's great. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna attempt to. Oh no, I need to eat. I need to fucking eat. I'm hungry. But I'm gonna go. I'll be back at some point to stream more preview cards, and then theoretically stream the actual game once it comes out February 14th. Haha, very funny. And hopefully at some point I'll be able to play CK3 with y'all, because it's fun.